What's up? This is Teddy Macedo here. In case if you're wondering why I'd be Teddy Macedo in this video, this is a serious video I'm doing here. Now, don't worry, people, it's nothing personal. It's just the fact, I noticed some of you are probably thinking that I always tend to agree with what the critics say. Well, technically, there are some things that I do disagree with critics on, which I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, before I can go start this video, let me say this, people, that this is not a rant, and it's not to say that you're wrong for liking this or disliking that. So anyways, on with the video. Now, first off, let's start off with the nostalgia critic. Why, you may ask? Not only is he very popular out of all the internet critics out there, but also when it comes to the nostalgia critic, there's always going to be at least one movie or one TV show that people are pretty much going to disagree on. Heck, for me, there are at least some movies and TV shows that I do disagree with the nostalgia critic on. Like, for example, one movie that I do disagree with him on would be, of course, Ron Howard's The Grinch. Now, what can I say, people? I love The Grinch. I mean, I thought the live-action Grinch movie was a major step up to both the original book and the original TV special. Now, I'm not saying that the original book and the original cartoon are both bad at all. I will admit they're both great classics, I will say. It's just the fact that, story-wise, they both may not have much to offer. Whereas the live-action movie adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, on the other hand, they did expand from what the original book and the original cartoon have to offer. And keeping it true to the original book at the same time, including, they did give out a really good backstory on how the Grinch hated Christmas with a burning passion. And another film I also do disagree with the nostalgia critic on would be, of course, Live Action Cat in the Hat, which I take as a guilty pleasure. And then another film that I also do disagree with the nostalgia critic on would be The Lorax. Like The Grinch, I don't find The Lorax to be a bad movie either. I really liked of how not only is the animation there great, but also the story expanded on what the original book and TV cartoon, especially what both the original book and the original cartoon has to offer. Not only do they get to show the Onceler's face, but also we do get to find out what brought the boy now named Ted to the old Onceler, and also we do get to find out what happens next after Ted received the last Truffula seed from the Onceler. And also, another film I also do disagree with the nostalgia critic on would be Inspector Gadget. And what can I say, people? I love Inspector Gadget. I thought the movie was a major step up to the original cartoon. And another film I also do disagree with the nostalgia critic on would be, of course, let me see here. Right, there's B-Movie I also do disagree with him. Though I can understand the fact, I get the fact that when he was a kid, he got stung by a bee. So anyways, another film I also do disagree with the nostalgia critic on would be, of course, Shrek the Third. Now, if you don't know anyone who likes Shrek the Third, apparently you got me, who also liked Shrek the Third as well. Anyways, and then there's also Doug. Everything about Doug I do disagree with him on. As a kid, I grew up loving Doug. I especially remember it when it reran on both Toon Disney and on Nicktoons Network at the same time. And also, I especially also remembered it when it, I also especially remember, well, when I was going to school at Andrus, I used to watch Doug's first movie a lot. I especially remember it when it was on Toon Disney, I will say. So anyways, so yeah, and also, another, film that I also do disagree with him on would be, the original Shrek. I thought Shrek was a really good movie. It's just that, well, the Nostalgia Critic finds the original Shrek to be overrated. Though I do, however, agree with him on Shrek 2 being a good movie, I will say. So anyways, another film that I also... Wait, is there anything else that I do disagree with him on? Probably not. Oh, right. Almost forgot, I also do disagree with him on Rockadoodle, The Troll in Central Park, and The Pelham the Penguin. And then there's also Spider-Man 3, which I thought it's an okay movie, while he likes it. Anyways, and also, and then on to the Nostalgia Chick. One film that I do disagree with the Nostalgia Chick on, you know, and let's just say I bet we can all disagree with the Nostalgia Chick on would be The Little Mermaid. Now, what can I say, people? I love The Little Mermaid. Though I do agree with the Nostalgia Chick on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I will say. And also, another film I also do disagree with the Nostalgia Chick on would be The Lorax. As well as I also do disagree with... I also do agree with the Nostalgia Chick on most of the Disney sequels, especially with Return to Neverland. I mean, I don't find it to be as bad as what people like her say. And also, I also do disagree with her on Return to Jafar and Mulan 2. Not to say that I like those movies, just the fact that, well, the Nostalgia Chick did put both Return to Jafar and Mulan 2 in her top 5 least awful Disney sequels. Return to Jafar really should have been the #1 worst Disney sequel, and Mulan 2 should have been the #2 worst Disney sequel. And also, another film that I also... So yeah, and now I bet you're all wondering, since I tend to disagree on a lot of things that the Nostalgia Critic says, I bet you're all wondering, is there anything that I do disagree with the Angry Video Game Nerd on? Well, from what I've been seeing so far, there isn't anything that I do disagree with the Angry Video Game Nerd on for the most part. Because the reason why there'll be more things to disagree with the Nostalgia Critic on and more things to agree on with the Angry Video Game Nerd is the fact that, well, when South Jersey Sam was reviewing Shaq Fu, he did bring up a really good point that people like me can easily dislike poorly reviewed movies. Or at least just bad movies in that case. Whereas with bad video games, on the other hand, people can easily dislike. Though I do know one bad video game that people tend to like, which I'll get into more about later in this video. So anyways, and now on to That Fell in the Coat. Though I tend to read more on That Fell in the Coat than the Nostalgia Critic, if there's one film that I do disagree with That Fell in the Coat on, well, let's just say I bet we can all disagree with That Fell in the Coat on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Although I do understand why he would prefer the new one better, considering the fact, well, now if you guys were watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you will see that the story in there is not faithful towards the original book. Whereas in the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, on the other hand, the story would appear to be faithful towards the original book. And I can see why someone like Roald Dahl would ever hate Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So anyways, another film that I also do disagree with that I found the code on will be most of the Disney sequels, with the exceptions of Return to Jafar, The Lion the King of Thieves, Mulan 2, the Lion King sequels, and Pocahontas 2: Journey to a New World. At least with the exception of both Return to Jafar and Mulan 2, and most of the Disney and all the Disney sequels that he would say good things about. And also, if there's anything that I do, and also now on to Animat. So what can I say, people? I love Animat. Well, yeah, like the nostalgia critic, there's always going to be this, at least this one movie that we're all that people in general can definitely easily disagree with him on. Like, for example, people, I strongly do disagree with him on the films that Sony Pictures Animation did. At least with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Hotel Transylvania, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, and Hotel Transylvania 2. Although, I do disagree on what Animat says about Sony Pictures Animation, I will say this: he did bring up some really good points in his Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. In his Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs review, I meant. He also not only did he bring up a real good point about how that just because a movie is different, that doesn't mean it's a good thing, but also he says that animation should be treated as an art of medium that everyone can enjoy, rather than just treating it as something which only kids can enjoy. Because when I see animation, I don't see it made just for kids. Trust me when I say to people that there are adult animation, there are cartoons out there that's made for adults as well. So yeah, another film I also do disagree with Animat on would be The Lorax. Again, I don't find it to be as bad as what most critics say it would be. And then there's also Shrek the Third. Though unlike the films from Sony Pictures Animation and The Lorax, where I can't understand why he would hate those movies, Shrek the Third, on the other hand, though I admittingly do like that movie, I can understand why he hates it. It's all thanks. The reason why a lot of people out there would ever hate Shrek the Third, it's due to the fact, well, Andrew Adamson, who directed the first two Shrek movies, did not have time to direct any of the later Shrek sequels, nor the Puss in Boots movies, because during that time period, Andrew Adamson was working on the Narnia movies at that time. And instead, both Shrek the Third and Puss in Boots would both be directed by Chris Miller, whom, and no, people, I'm not talking about the same guy who would collaborate with Phil Lord to direct films like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, nor the Lego Movie. I'm talking about the same guy who has always worked at DreamWorks and has also who also does the voice of the Magic Mirror from the Shrek films, and is also the voice of Kowalski as seen in all the movies, as well as TV specials, excluding the Penguins of Madagascar TV series, as in there he would be voiced by Jeff Bennett instead. But I will say he does a much better job as Kowalski than Chris Miller. Sorry, Chris. So anyways, another film I also do disagree with Animat on would be DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Land. Now what can I say, people? I love DuckTales. Though I'm aware of the fact that when Animat was a kid growing up, he never got to watch much of DuckTales, though when he did get to watch it for himself, he did appreciate from what the show itself has got. Now, I felt the same way about this one kids' TV show. Now, please don't hate me when I say this, people, but it's Thomas the Tank Engine. I bet you're all wondering, how come I never grew up watching Thomas the Tank Engine? It's just that, well, though I didn't watch much of Thomas the Tank Engine when I was younger, though I do, however, have an appreciation for Thomas the Tank Engine, I will say. As a kid, I used to love playing trains a lot, and there's this one computer game based off of trains that I used to play a lot when I was a little kid. I bet you're all wondering what's the computer game that I'm talking about. Well, I forgot its name, but I can say this: it's not made by the Learning Company, nor is it made by Knowledge Adventures, sadly. Thankfully, at least it's not made by those. At least it's not made by this god awful game company called Ocean House Media. As Ocean House Media is basically just basically I'd like to call the LJN of the present. And yes, people, I do watch The Angry Video Game Nerd. So anyways, another film I also do disagree with Ant-Man on will be, of course, all the Ice Age sequels, as well as Inspector Gadget. I also do disagree with Ant-Man on, at least with the movie in that case. So I also do disagree with him on The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, which I thought it's okay. Not as good as Mr. Peabody and Sherman, but I will say this: at least it's way better than that god awful movie based off of Boris and Natasha. Thankfully, I never got to see that, and I don't plan to. So anyways, I also do disagree with Ant-Man on Yogi Bear, as in the movie we're talking about. Not the cartoons, but the movie. You know, the one with Justin Timberlake voicing Boo Boo. And yes, people, that one. So anyways, I also do disagree with Ant-Man on the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, which I hate to admit this, people. I admittedly like those films, but I can respect how other people feel about those films. Though I do agree with Ant-Man on the live-action Transformers movies, and I also do agree with Ant-Man on the live-action Mr. Magoo movie, and I also do agree with him on The Last Airbender, and I also do agree with him on Masters of the Universe, and I also do agree with him on, do I need to say its name? Bratz the movie! So anyways, yeah. So I seem to disagree with Ant-Man on, and then I bet you're all wondering, is there anything that I do disagree with Huey Toon more on, since there have been people out there who have previously disagreed with him on certain movies. Usually, I tend to agree with Huey on certain movies. Well, I do, however, if there's one film that I do disagree with Huey on, though I think his Marzi's Mom's review was great, one part about Marzi's Mom's that I do disagree with him on would be, of course, when he said that, and about Image Movers' disclosure, and, that Marzi's Mom's deserves its box office fate. Now, I'm not going to act like Marzi's Mom's it's a good movie or anything like that, but I personally don't think it deserves its box office fate, nor do I think Image Movies deserve to close down. Though I hate to admit this, people, when I first heard the news about a Yellow Submarine remake that's going to be done in motion capture, I was so excited about it. But then when I first heard Image Movies closed down and the Yellow Submarine remake got cancelled, I got pretty sad. The one Image Movies from that time period that I was feeling more excited about would be, of course, the long-awaited Roger Rabbit sequel. And yes, people, there have been on and off talks about doing a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I've been really optimistic about. Oh, by the way, which reminds me that another thing from Mr. Coate that I also do disagree with him on would be the cancellation when John Lasseter canceled future Disney sequels to the animated classics. I mean, canceling future Disney sequels to the animated classics is not a smart move, in my opinion. Now, say what you will about John Lasseter's issues in making the Cars movies and the Planes movies, but I personally think that canceling all future Disney sequels is basically just John Lasseter's biggest hiccup ever. So anyways, another thing I also do disagree with Huey on would be The Lorax. Again, I don't find that movie that bad at all. I think it's a pretty good movie. So anyways, I also, and then, can't think of anything else that I do disagree with you on. Now on to VG Retro. Now, I can't think of anything that I disagree with VG Retro on, which, like the Angry Video Game Nerd, I also do tend to agree on everything that VG Retro says. However, as for anything about that I do disagree with Sonic Guru on, there is one game in particular that I do disagree with Sonic Guru on, it being, of course, Sonic 06. Now, I'm not saying that it's wrong for him to like Sonic 06 at all. It's just that, well, when I played Sonic 06 at school one time, the game itself was so bad. The gameplay, was just so messed up. I'd have to agree with my good friend Nick right here watching this, that Sonic 06 is a terrible video game. Now, another video game review that I also do disagree on would be, of course, would be Animax Review's Epic Mickey 2: The Power of Two. Now, it's not to say that I actually... this is not to say that there's nothing that I agree with Animax on regarding to Epic Mickey 2: The Power of Two. Don't get me wrong, though. There are some things he said in his Epic Mickey 2 review that I do agree with him on. There are some really good points that he made, including, I agree with him about the limitation of characters appearing in the game, as well as all the improvements it had to offer. And and now on to Morgan Ledger. I disagree with him on the live-action Cat in the Hat movie. I also do disagree with him on Return to Neverland. But hey, Morgan, if you don't like Return to Neverland, I can respect your opinion. So anyways, and then there's also, I also do disagree with Morgan Ledger on Barney's Great Adventure. Just because, well, when I was a little kid, I used to love Barney a lot, I hate to admit. Though I get where all the hate is going when it comes to Barney the Purple Dinosaur. So anyways, and then there's also, and then there's also The Last Unicorn. Haven't seen The Last Unicorn, to be honest with you. Though I'm definitely going to take Huey's word on the movie. I'm definitely going to go give The Last Unicorn a watch one day. So anyways, another film that I also do, so anyways, on to High Magnitude. But I almost forgot, another film I also do disagree with Morgan Ledger on would be, of course, the films made by Sony Pictures Animation, at least beginning with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And another film I also do disagree with Morgan on would be, of course, there's this one aspect of 14 Years of Who that he does dislike for pointless reasonings. And that would be, of course, the anime references. And if you thought that the anime references are pointless, then perhaps you guys have no idea why the fridge there would ever be a scene in 14 Years Ago that would rely on anime references. That's because the original Dr. Seuss book of the same name appeared to be a public apology to the Japanese people, which I'm going to talk more about in my public apologies editorial, so stay tuned for that. So anyways, I'm also, and then there's also the Lorax, though I get why he would hate films like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and the Lorax, as growing up, as he did to grow up reading the original books, which is understandable. So anyways, on to Hymentude. Now, one film that I do disagree with Hymentude on would be, of course, pretty much most of the Don Bluth sequels, as well as, the one thing I seem to notice about From Pages to Pictures, that every single time whenever Hymentude dared do a From Pages to Pictures episode, either the book always wins, what wins in the end would be either the original book, or the original would be either the original book, which the movie is based off of, or it's most likely a tie. With films like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and Die Hard, the original book won. Whereas films like Bambi and James and the Giant Peach, there was a tie between them. Though for films like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I can understand why he would prefer the original books better. But as for films like Die Hard and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, well, for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, say what you will about that movie, I thought the movie was way better than what the original book by Gary Wolfe has to offer. Now, I'm not saying the book's bad, just that, well, yeah. Though I haven't read the original book, to be honest with you, but I would like to read it one day. So anyways, now on to South Jersey Sam. Can't think of any reviews that I do disagree with him on. By the way, I almost forgot to say this, people, that I also do disagree. Another film I also do disagree with you two more on, and The Media Hunter, would be you know this one Tom and Jerry Wizard of Oz movie. I don't find it to be as bad as what Huey and The Media Hunter say. At least let me explain why for once, okay? Well, the story in there, from what I've seen, looks just as the story in there appears to be just as faithful towards the original movie it's trying to satirize, while trying new things. I mean, out of all the Tom and Jerry movies that have been released, I find the Wizard of Oz one to be the least awful one, and it's my personal favorite. Now I get why a lot of people hate all the Tom and Jerry movies. It's all because of how bad Tom and Jerry the movie is. Now, saying that all Tom and Jerry movies are terrible because of Tom and Jerry the movie, it'll be just like saying that all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies suck because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: Turtles in Time. Yeah, even with the battiness of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 and Turtles in Time, there are better TMNT films that have been made as well. So anyways, and now on to Rowdy C from TV Trash. Now, I do disagree with Rowdy C on one TV show in particular that I do disagree with him on would be, of course, The Garfield Show. What can I say, people? I love Garfield. I get why. When it comes to The Garfield Show, I don't find it to be as bad as what Rowdy C and the comic strip critic both say. I personally thought it was a good TV show. And say what you guys will about Bill Murray and Frank Welker's Garfield, I thought they both did just as equally good as how Lorenzo Music voiced Garfield. Not only that, but also another thing that makes the Garfield show enjoyable is the fact that the animation in there looks faithful towards the original comics and cartoons at the same time. Sure, you may not have characters like Binky the Clown return, but at least you guys have Garfield, Odie, Nermal, John Arbuckle, and Liz, as well as two characters that we may recognize more in the original comics if you're a if you like Garfield lore in that case, comics-wise that is, consisting of Arlene, the love interest of Garfield, and Squeak, the mouse who always likes to invade John Arbuckle's house without John Arbuckle's consent. So anyways, another TV show I also do disagree with him on would be, of course, South Park. This is the moment in which I will say these people, I can understand why Rowdy C hates South Park. It's just well, yeah. I find it to be a good show, in my opinion. Sure, it may not be perfect fit for epic battles like with Simpsons and Family Guy, but South Park does, however, have its funny moments. But I can respect those who do hold a grudge against the show. So yeah. So it's pretty much all I have to say. Anybody from Westbrook watching this, thank you for being with me, and for anybody from St. Chris watching this, I look forward to seeing you guys there. Until then, ciao for now.